Well, good morning, everybody. It's kind of amazing to say that we're watching day 7. This is the sunrise on day 7 of this powerful winter storm, which is just this morning crossing over Minneapolis, going toward central Wisconsin. Yesterday, this is the infrared imagery going back in time last night. But yesterday, as we kind of watched the sunset, we could see the extent of the snow from this system across the west. We could still see the upper level low sitting over parts of central Minnesota and the blizzard that was going on the backside of this, where there's been very strong winds. Now to the south, everything has been cleared out. As we watch this upper level low just sit and spin over the Great Lakes today, and by Monday night, it'll go all the way to Maine. It's going to continue to produce a lot of scattered snow in this area, and because of the strong winds on the backside, there is still a blizzard warning out for parts of far eastern Montana, the western, most of the Dakotas here, due to blowing snow with the strong winds, but we're still watching an active winter storm that's passing through parts of New England. There's a lot of cold air on the backside of this. It's sunk into the Central Valley of California, hence the freeze, the hard freeze warnings that are in place here. And this particular system, as it continues just to curl out, is going to affect the country. Now, a lot of us, I know, have already tried to turn our attention to the next big system that's coming through. We'll be talking about that pre-Christmas storm in just a few seconds here. But I want to talk about what we still have to deal with this one. So this is just looking today at the winds that are going to be on the backside of this through the middle of the day here. We're going to see wind gusts possibly in the 30 to 50 mile an hour range around this low, which is why we still have ground blizzard warnings out here. And this is going to sweep through the Midwest throughout the day today and tomorrow morning. Now, as we work our way through the end of this weekend, things do calm down just a little bit. So this is how we get to on Sunday. And then, as you know, next week, we're going to be watching the nose of a large high-pressure cell that's going to be coming out of out of parts of the Canadian prairie, born actually today in the Arctic. But it'll show up right here by next Tuesday. And what we're going to watch here is that through Wednesday and Thursday, look at this Arctic blast. So very rapid change in pressure behind this. We're still looking at probably a 1050 to 1060 millibar high coming through parts of Montana. And the leading edge of this will bring an incredibly sharp change in temperature. Now, the models are still kind of split a bit on where they think this low is going to be. But one thing is for certain, the cold air that's coming in, this is going to have strong winds, extremely low wind chills, temperatures that will be 30 to 40 degrees colder than normal, and this will be a very high impact storm system. So before I come back to that, though, I do need to complete the story on our first system. So this is about 8 o'clock this morning, so we're still watching the heavy snow here. And as we play this forward on the high-res NAM, a couple of things to take note of. We're going to have multiple chances for snow throughout the day today to tomorrow in parts of New England. We're then going to watch the upper level low spin over the Great Lakes, so still scattered snow showers on the back of this, but winds will eventually calm down as we approach Saturday morning. There will be scattered snow squalls all throughout the Great Lakes states. Because of the depth of this upper level trough, we actually are destabilized in the low levels of the atmosphere. So you end up getting these really, you'll even see it, cumulus clouds in here that will be able to produce locally heavy snow. And then this will also help enhance the lake effect snow as the flow comes across the Great Lakes. So we're probably watching for another big event on the end of Lake Erie. And then several wind parallel bands coming off of the other lakes like Lake Michigan. Okay, so I've got you out here to Saturday noon. Let's just play through the end of the day on Saturday, and we'll finally be watching this system leave once we get into Sunday and Monday. So that's system number 1. Get that one out of here, and that's what to expect. If you want to see what total snow is still left in this is across the Midwest. So still a couple of inches are possible, maybe a couple more in certain places, especially on the lake effect snow belts here. And then into New England. Again, this included some of the snow that fell last night. This was the 0Z run. We don't get the 12Z runs until later today. So some of this has already fallen, but there's still the potential for quite a bit of snow here in parts of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and then getting into Maine. Now from here, a lot of the attention is going to go to this next system. So let's pick up on Sunday with both the GFS versus the European model. If you get a chance to read today's report, I actually go through and overlay on top of this the position of the upper level shortwave to kind of show you the differences, but we'll just talk about it in this video. So this is going from Sunday night into Monday morning. And one of the things we've been kind of watching the models do here is potentially produce a weak system that comes out of eastern Texas, maybe spreads a little bit of snow farther to the north of it. This is what the GFS has been showing for the last 3 days. The European is not so which is not so snowy in this area. It's got more storms down in eastern Texas that'll spread on Monday evening into parts of Louisiana and Arkansas, as you can see, but down here, maybe eastern Texas to Louisiana. So the Europeans got a much more suppressed wave farther to the south, whereas the GFS has one that's a bit more open. As we play this forward, that system tries to clear. There will be some scattered snow that moves out ahead of it. But remember, on Tuesday, this is where the Arctic air, which today, again, is sitting over the Chukchi Sea, which is in the Arctic Ocean, is going to be moving. So we're going to watch this very high-pressure cell move right into this area. So this is now Tuesday morning, afternoon, and evening. So some more snow for the Great Lakes. The system we saw coming out on Monday moves over to Florida by Tuesday. Now our eyes are going to go right to this system here. So as this plays forward, we're going to watch on the nose of this high-pressure cell, this band of snow that's going to be sitting on the leading edge of a shortwave. Now, in the GFS, the shortwave digs, and in the European, it spreads farther to the east and then really curls. That's some of the differences in the position of these two systems. There is a lead wave, which we talked about in the in-depth report last night, that goes over the Carolinas ahead of this on early Thursday morning. But then as we get into Thursday midday, Thursday evening, and getting into Friday early morning, let's stop it right there at 6 a.m. The difference is the GFS sends a much deeper wave. The European sends one that advances quicker and curls up, so it has much more upper-level support. And one of them produces a storm system that gets into New England very quickly. The GFS produces one that digs farther to the south and potentially sets up for more snow farther to the south, including maybe the Carolinas and back through the whole of the Appalachian Mountains. There's still a lot of uncertainty with this. I need to see several more model runs and continue to pay attention to the ensembles like we did in last night's presentation and see how this goes. But this is the latest data we've got through early Friday morning as this system curls up. Now, we don't at this point want to look at snow maps. We don't want to look at anything. We just need to watch the evolution of the storm and understand that we keep seeing repeated forecasts showing a system, and this Tuesday to Friday of next week that's born here and rolls into the East Coast, which could be highly impactful leading up to the Christmas holiday. And what we do know is that behind this there is very, very cold air. But I'd like to show you where the European ensemble is placing the depth of that trough here. And there will be a very, very cold air sitting inside this. What's important to see is that on the backside there is weak ridging across the west. And because of that, we're going to stay more mild across the west. And it's also going to limit how well the cold air is going to be able to traverse and get over the Rocky Mountains. So let's take a look at that cold air now, since we've seen out there to that point. Okay, so this is today's high temperatures compared to normal. We're going to go into Saturday and then into Sunday. In fact, we can blow this up a little bit. There you go. So on Sunday into Monday, we have our first push at really cold air. So these are high temperatures now. The color shading is departure from normal. So we're already seeing in parts of Montana temperatures 40 degrees colder than normal with highs in the negative single digits. So from Monday into Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then here will come the big push on Thursday. This is where the true depth of that Arctic air is going to make it. Now, just thinking about Thursday, I went out and just put this in the report today. This is a look at the European ensemble Thursday into Friday of next week, looking at the average temperature anomalies during that time period. So we could see from Montana through the Dakotas into the Midwest here, temperatures 20 to 40 degrees colder than normal. But I point out, you notice how sharp the gradient is here right along the spine of the Rockies. This is a very shallow air mass, and it's going to have a difficult time kind of traversing the mountains. So we're going to stay very mild to the west of this comparatively. But this Arctic air is going to be, I keep mentioning this in the videos, but ranchers, the cow-calf operations, this is just extremely cold air for livestock. We need to be just aware of what it could potentially do in this particular area. Now, how long does it last? Well, this goes out to the 25th here, and we see that average temperature anomalies are possibly going to be 20 degrees colder than normal over a 5-day time period. And then you see here the last, the 5 days following that, which gets us out to the 30th of December. We're going to watch that colder air try to exit east. Could there be a mild pattern to follow this? There could. Oftentimes high amplitude patterns do that. They bring in a sharp 10 to 15 day outbreak, and then after that there's some moderation. We're going to have to watch for the high latitude blocking, which we've talked a lot about, and the behavior of the Pacific jet stream. But I do want to show you something interesting. There's a model that NOAA runs called High Split, and I love it because you can do back trajectories on where the source of the cold air is. So for 6 a.m. on Christmas morning in Des Moines, I just want to show you these are the back trajectories tracing where the air is going to come from starting today. So like I said, it's beginning life in the Chukchi Sea and in the Arctic, and by Christmas it'll be over Des Moines. That's where that cold air is coming from. Just amazing to see that. And I love doing this. Our models are incredible with what they can predict. Again, that's the NOAA High Split model if you ever want to run that yourself. My dad asked for this, so I thought I'd toss it in. He says, what's the chance of a white Christmas? So here you go. This is the probability of getting at least an inch of snow between now and 6 p.m. on Christmas Day. So that's it. That's what we're looking at here in terms of those probabilities. From here, I just wanted to ask you to read the report. I do include some more discussion about the January outlook, which was just released by NOAA. Again, I have more confidence in this than I did the latest ECMWF run, and just kind of explain why in last night's in-depth report. We also include just another look here at the January, February, March outlook from the new Columbia University data, just to kind of give us another idea about winter. And again, we talk about this last night in the in-depth report, especially with the behavior of La Nina. And finally, just want to give you an update on what's happening in South America. Almost no change in the 15-day outlook from the European model. I know that individual model runs keep attempting to put better rains into Argentina, but they're flopping around so much that I don't trust it. So you just look out here at the ensemble to get a better idea. So heavy rains in north central Brazil, eastern Brazil, drier in southern Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Argentina seem to be the forecast as they officially start their summer, although it's already hot enough there to be considered summer. So I'll stop here. I hope you all have a good weekend. If you want, just keep looking at the national report that I link in every day's report, because that updates automatically now. So you'll be able to just see it at any time and look at any of these maps you'd like during that time period. So I appreciate it. I hope you all have a good weekend, and we'll be ready next week to talk about this next winter storm. Thanks.